not miss the beginning. She wants to be the whole time. I recorded her Facebook Live. Joe.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am retired Master Sergeant Jamie Velasquez, your narrator for today's event. On behalf of Colonel Killian and the United States Air Force, I would like to welcome you to Colonel Killian's retirement ceremony. Sorry, one moment. At this time, please ensure all electronic devices are turned off or silenced until the completion of the ceremony. Throughout today's ceremony, I will prompt you when military protocol asks that you stand or to be seated. When the official party arrives, I will ask everyone to stand. Military and civilian guests should remain standing for the presentation of the colors and the singing of the national anthem. Military personnel in uniform should stand at attention. Civilians should place their right hand over their heart. Ladies and gentlemen, officiating today's ceremony is Colonel Lori Mallory, Director of Nurse Research for the 59th Medical Wing. Please see the program for her truly impressive bio. It is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome all guests to the Philip Colin Theater in the State Student Union of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, in the heart of this exciting city. Today's event will be an opportunity for us to bring to life a valued military custom, one in which we gather to celebrate the career and accomplishments of Col Jacqueline Killian as she retires from active duty after more than 31 years of dedicated service. Today, the United States Air Force, the Nurse Corps, and the UNLV Air Force Detachment Honor Guard pay special tribute to the retirement of Col Jacqueline Killian. We conduct retirement ceremonies for two reasons. First, of course, is to bring closure to a long and distinguished career in service to our country. Secondly, for those who remain and continue the Air Force mission, to honor the history and traditions of our Air Force. This afternoon, we will witness the final stage of Colonel Killian's military career. However, just as this is the end of one phase of her career, it is the beginning of another. So today's gathering also gives us the opportunity to wish her every success in the future as she looks forward to new challenges and rewards. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin recognizing distinguished guests and visitors. Please rise to be recognized. We are also honored to have in attendance Colonel Killian's husband, Matthew Killian, her oldest son, Jake Killian, her youngest son, Nick Killian, her daughter, Stephanie, and son-in-law, Jordan Osmondson, and her three and Wesley. By the way, join us on stage today, as this is a ceremony that will just go with it. Also, a very warm welcome to Colonel Killian's mother and father, Migdalia, and Navy Chief Petty Officer retired, Joe Hetler. You all, more than anyone else, are aware of the sacrifices your wife, mother, and daughter has made in the service to our country. I speak for the entire audience when I say how pleased we are to have you here with us today. We have several additional family members in attendance this afternoon. Please hold your applause until they have all been introduced. Colonel Killian's sister, Priscilla Kissinger. Her nieces, Alexa and her spouse, Garth Rose. Gabby and her spouse, Tom Govars. Her nephew, Lance Corporal Julian Hetler. Her aunts, Kathy Rangel and Terry Gomez. Her cousins, Tech Sergeant United States Air Force retired Stephanie Blake, Jennifer Chavez, Melissa Jimenez, and Joanne Tolbert. Her extended family, Mirda Thomas, Sierra Woods, and Maggie Bird. I now have the pleasure of introducing Colonel Killian's distinguished visitors joining us today. Please stand to be recognized. Dr. Angela Amir, Dean of UNLV School of Nursing. And is Colonel Hagman here? No. Colonel Hagman was supposed to join us from the med group, and we'll make sure I say hello to her when I get back to work. Thank you. And to all other distinguished visitors, family, and friends who are here to celebrate Col Jacqueline Killian's retirement, welcome. We are so happy to see so many here to rejoice with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for the advancing of the colors by the UNLV Air Force Detachment Honor Guard, the singing of the national anthem by Ms. Stephanie Ogdenson, Colonel Killian's daughter, and the invitation will be given by Ms. Migdalia Hetler, Colonel Killian's mother.
Pause.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled
banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Pause. Colors, poster, perch.
Thank you, Ms. Osmondson, for that beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the invocation by Ms. Settle.
Good afternoon. Please bow your heads in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, today is a very special day for our family. Our firstborn, Jackie, is saying farewell to her military career in the United States Army and the United States Air Force after 31 years of honorable military service. Thank you, Lord, for your guidance, for her hard work and dedication, and especially for the sacrifices Jackie and her family faced while adapting to changes, especially while she deployed. We thank you, Lord, for the long-term contributions Jackie accomplished in the execution of her duties and sharing her knowledge, experiences, positive spirit, and wisdom with others. Holy Father, thank you for always watching over Jackie. I clearly remember while in high school, she volunteered at the Florida Keys Community Hospital as a candy striper. One day, she was called to the delivery room to translate for a Cuban migrant couple that had just arrived in Key West. The young woman was in labor and very scared. The couple did not speak or understand English. Jackie was able to calm the expecting parents, and to Jackie's amazement, a beautiful baby girl was born. Jackie came home extremely excited to tell us about her beautiful experience. And it was at that time that she realized she wanted to be a nurse. She had no idea that one day she would go on to complete her PhD and become a nurse scientist. Having positively influenced so many lives along her journey to where she is today. As we look back on our baby girl's walk through life, Lord, we are so thankful for your master plan for our Jackie. Heavenly Father, today we end our prayer glorifying your name as we come together to celebrate Col Jacqueline Marie Killian with much gratitude for what has been and for what has yet to come for her and her family. In your holy name we pray.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Mrs. Hetler, for that wonderful blessing. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce Colonel Lori Mallory.
That's a tough act to follow, Meg. Can everybody in the back hear me? Shout out. I have to start off by thanking all the distinguished guests, faculty, students, armed forces, family members. And I have to put my cheaters on. I have the distinct privilege and honor to talk about Colonel Jackie Killian and her career. And this is a career brief. And for people that aren't military, what that means is I get to take you through a whirlwind tour of her 31-year career in 20 minutes. So strap on your seatbelts. Really what I have found are a few themes, but I would like to start out by reading to you a quote that I think really captures the essence of the moment. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And that's from John C. Maxwell. And I think if I were only afforded 1 minute, that would be what I would have to say about Colonel Killian. But I have 19 more minutes. And so as a scientist and someone who has spent a great deal of time looking through all of her performance reports and her decorations, there are 5 factors, and I call them the Killian 5-factor formula for success. And I'm going to walk you through her career so that you can see that this wasn't thought out. This is who she is. It's been who she is, like Mig said, from the beginning, from her Candy Striper days, throughout her career. I don't know that you can achieve this with intention, because I think it's organic and I think that some intention added to it. But then 1 of 5, show up. Second, lead, mentor, and teach. 3, leave it better than you found it. 4, give your best joyfully and positively. And 5, which I think is the most important for Colonel Jackie Killian, is self-awareness and knowing what fills you up. And for this woman right here, it's all of you. It's her family. It's the most important thing. She's maintained family is the most important thing throughout 31 years. And I can tell you as an active duty member, that is virtually impossible to do consistently and with endurance. And so I'm a by the numbers person. I love numbers. So I'm going to start out just with a quick overview. So her 31 years is actually compiled of ROTC time, U.S. Army time, and Air Force time. She had 1 Army assignment and 7 Air Force assignments for a total of 8 assignments, in which her parents came to every single assignment, every move, they were there. She had 1 deployment, and we'll talk about that later. And she had a total of recorded, and I'm not perfect, right? Recorded awards, 31. 31 years of service, 31 decorations. She has a bachelor's degree from the University of Florida, so say it with me. She has a master's in human relations from the University of Oklahoma.
Boomer sooner.
She has a master's in nursing education from Hampton University, and her culminating degree is a PhD in nursing from the Uniformed Services University. So when we talk about a leader is one who, some of her leadership roles, and this does not capture all of her leadership roles, she was an infection control officer, a charge nurse, an element leader, a flight commander. She filled in for chief nurses twice, once for 6 months, and we'll talk about that, once for 3 months at the 59th. She was this company grade officer group president. She was the NNSDO president. She was the USU cohort president. She was the Jonas Scholar. She was an Air Force Joint Program Council Family Health and Resilience leader. She led the Air Force effort in COVID, pulled samples, testing, surveillance, and this is just a quick look. But not only was she a leader, she was a volunteer. So in her leadership time, she dedicated to her career. She was also volunteering. She was in Toastmasters. She was a physical training leader. She volunteered for the Combined Federal Campaign. She was an ACLS instructor. She did extra hours of simulation in the lab. She coordinated 12 morale events in one assignment at the 59th. It goes on and on. So let's start in 1988 with Army ROTC. This really served her well. So if you're in the audience and you're thinking about ROTC, or you are an ROTC member, this is great fertilizer for a future career. When she got to the Army for her first assignment in 1991, she had information on her reports, and I think the most meaningful way to share someone's character is by telling you what other people say about them along the way. And so in her very first assignment as the second lieutenant officer in her basic officer's training course, they said this: she had superior oral and written communication, esprit de corps and concern for her fellow officers. She was able to teach her fellow officers. She was self-motivated in physical fitness and training, had a can-do attitude, and I love this one because this has really been true forever. The creative endeavors on the part of Lieutenant Killian were evident. She can create something out of nothing. If somebody says it can't happen, she makes it happen every single time. So in the NICU at Brooke Army Medical Center, she was said to be on the fast track to success, and she was, I know this will come as a shock, the unit social activities director. One of the important things about her first assignment in San Antonio was that's when Jake and Stephanie were born, and her aunts, Kathy and Terry, were instrumental in mentoring her and helping her learn how to be a new mom. And so that really was critical to her, and that provided her the support in that very first assignment to be able to flourish because she had family support to help her be a new mom. She then had a 4-year break in service, and that was from 1995 to 1999. And during that point, Matt joined the Air Force in 1997. And Jackie was actually a GS nurse working at Malmstrom Air Force Base, and she was so amazing as a GS nurse that the chief nurse there, Eleanor Foreman, guaranteed her a position wherever Matt went, and he went to the Azores. So Jackie then commissioned in 1999 into the Air Force, and her first assignment was at Lodges. And at that assignment, she was an infection control officer, but she also won the Lieutenant Cleve McClary Team Award for selfless service. She also won the CGO of the Year and the Nurse of the Year for ACC. And those are just tiny highlights. She was also the company grade officer president. We then moved from 2003 to 2005, she PCSs to Keesler. And if you are a great historian, you know what happened in Mississippi during that time frame. So Jackie gets to Keesler, she's leading quality improvement. She brought the first ever CGO course where she trained CGOs. She was reviewing and developing readiness, and then Katrina. So she became the acting flight commander for 6 months during Hurricane Katrina, at which time she organized contingency responses. But in that 6-month period, in the very first month, she was charged with 3 jobs. She succeeded at every single job. She was also the coordinator of airlift for 60 patients during Katrina, and she led flight line coverage for over 900 aircraft. So if you've ever been active duty in a disaster or an emergency and you're a leader, you stay and your family is left behind to fend for themselves. It's a very unsettling feeling, but you have to focus on the mission. And she focused on the mission, she succeeded in the mission, and her family succeeded in supporting her. If she did not have the family support that she did, she would not have been able to focus on the mission. So then she moves on to Langley Air Force Base from 2005 to 2006, and she started the first ever Nurse One clinic and company grade leadership class, and it was said that she seized every chance for self-improvement. She was rated number 1 of 25 and said to excel under pressure. In 2006 and 2008, she then went to her AFIT assignment where she went to Hampton University. That was her most favored assignment. She was pretty much a civilian in an active duty role, and she got to spend great quality time with her family while she went to school for her master's with a 3.92 GPA. So after her master's, she then moved on to Nellis Air Force Base. Right here. 2008 to 2012. She was the Flight Commander of Education and Training. During that time frame, she received the National Latina Distinguished Service Award. She was president of the NNSDO. She coordinated air show support. She brought the first ever CPR rodeo. And then she was deployed. So at that point, 2011 and 2012, she went to be the deputy chief nurse at the 38th Expeditionary Medical Group in El Dhafra Air Base, United Arab Emirates, during Operation Enduring Freedom and New Dawn. And again, 3 distinctly different roles when she got there. The chief nurse, transferring patients by air evacuation, and then she was charged to plan and execute the largest host nation mass accident response exercise, which she succeeded in. Again, leaving her family behind. At that point, she finds out that she was accepted into a PhD program at the Uniformed Services University, which was not exactly what she intended. She applied for school of choice in the civilian world. So a complete challenge and change. Once again, she leaves her family behind for 3 years to get her PhD. So that's where some fun comes in, because that's where I met Colonel Killian. And so Colonel Killian struck a deal with me. We were 100% complete strangers. We show up for our PhD. Uniformed Services University has a lottery system for parking. So if you don't get a parking pass, you're taking the metro or you're walking, and even if you take the metro, it's a mile from the metro stop to the school. So of course, with the luck of this resilient, talented, positive woman, she gets a parking pass, right? But she's only 3 miles away, and I'm 15 miles away. So she strikes a deal with me, complete stranger, right? I'll give you the parking pass, you pick me up and drop me off. So then I'm driving Miss Daisy, right? 3 years, the greatest years of, I think, our academic lives, and I became her work wife, and that's why I'm here today, because we built an amazing relationship over those 3 years. So now I'm part of the family, right? So during that time, I witnessed all of this. She was surprisingly the cohort president. And at that point, she garnered 3 separate awards for her 3 years during her PhD. One was the Admiral James Zimble Selfless Service Award. One was the MOAA Outstanding Student Award. And one was the Who's Who among students in American college and universities. There were 5 people in her cohort. She sweeps 3 awards. It's amazing. She brought joy to so many people in so many disciplines. So then she leaves USU and she's assigned to San Antonio once again. And at this point, family, instrumental again. She lives with Aunt Kathy while she's house hunting. And then eventually Matt comes back and rejoins Jackie for a few years before he returns to Las Vegas. In her assignment at the 59th, which she feels is her most challenging assignment, she's the Deputy Chief Scientist along with being the Director of Nursing Research. She leads over 140 people, and she garners awards and recognition there. But moreover that, she overhauled the department's award and recognition program and focused on others. She made sure everyone else had awards and recognition because the department was not taking the time to recognize their people. She made it a top priority to recognize other people. During that assignment, she directed $110 million of research. She filled in for the chief nurse for 3 months. She developed 450 nurses, and she did her own research at that same time. After her time at the 59th, she was PCS to Wright-Patterson, the 711th Human Performance Wing, where she shows up during COVID with a very challenging handoff where the majority of the department are civilians who are all teleworking. At that time, this is a premier research execution platform. She's charged with taking over COVID research, and not just the pooled samples testing, which was Air Force-wide and included 5 separate laboratories, but other COVID-related research efforts. She also mentored Lieutenant Colonel Bedford, who PCS'd and did not have a senior scientist to mentor, and she spent countless hours mentoring Major, now Lieutenant Colonel Bedford. Why do I tell you all of this? Jackie has put family first, and there's a reason, because her family put her first. Her family elevated her up, her family supported her in her absence, and whether she was there, they sacrificed main events, life milestones, and she traveled every opportunity she could get from every assignment on every single long holiday. She burned up every hour and day of leave. I have like 70 some hours of leave. She'd have 8 because she goes and visits her family and puts family first. Every opportunity that was a challenge, she reversed it. She made it a positive, successful assignment, event, and task. And she's going to bring that to UNLV. She's going to bring that to the students. She will bring her resilience, her positivity, her can-do attitude, her creativeness, and her endurance, and you too will become her family. And so it's been a great pleasure to be able to try to pull all of that into a short period of time. But she warms my heart, she's inspirational, and she is a leader of influence. She may not be in every leadership position, but she shows up. She leads, she mentors, and she teaches. She leaves every single thing better after she touches it. She gives her best joyfully and positively, and she puts family first because she knows that's what makes her tick. I thank you for the opportunity, and we're going to get on with all the official business now.
Thank you, Colonel Killian, please take your place at center stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the medal presentation. Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the Meritorious Service Medal to Col Jacqueline Killian. Col Jacqueline Killian distinguished herself in performance of outstanding service to the United States while assigned to the United States Air Force School of Aerospace Medicine. During this period, while assigned as Chief Nurse Scientist, Col Killian flawlessly led the Air Force coronavirus pooled testing effort, which enabled 5 national research laboratories to test 30,000 personnel for pandemic population health surveillance. As a senior science advisor of the Aeromedical Science Advisory Council, she assessed over 50 research proposals, guided investigators, and validated $20 million in funding. Furthermore, she built collaborative partnerships as lead for the Air Force Research Laboratory's Military Medicine to Business Scientific Meeting, linking 174 stakeholders and driving innovative medical solutions. Additionally, as principal investigator for multiple studies, her mentorship-led research teams dedicated to improving the quality of life for military healthcare personnel while also guiding the next generation of nursing research. Finally, as the Air Force Medical Service Centers for Clinical Inquiry Director, she fostered evidence-based practice initiatives, ensuring high reliability standards were met across 76 military treatment facilities. Her efforts culminated in her receiving the Tri-Service Nursing Research Program Scientific Mentorship Award for 2021. The singular, distinctive accomplishments of Col Killian culminate a distinguished career in the service of her country and reflect great credit upon herself and the United States Air Force.
And again, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Migliore will now proceed with the ceremony of retirement from the United States Armed Forces.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Department of the Air Force, Special Order Number Alpha Lima -000-361, under the provision of the Air Force Instruction 36-3203. Col Killian is relieved from active duty at the United States Air Force School of Aerospace Medicine, 711th Human Performance Wing, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. Retired, effective 1 July 2022, in the grade of Colonel by the order of the Secretary of the Air Force.
Just like that. Perfect. And again. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated for the remaining presentations. Colonel Meliori will now present Colonel Killian with her Certificate of Retirement. It reads, Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that Col Jacqueline M. Killian, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on the first day of July, 2022. Signed, Major General Heather L. Pringle, Commander, Air Force Resource Laboratory, and Charles Q. Brown, Chief of Staff of the Air Force. At this time, Colonel Meliori will present Colonel Killian with a Certificate of Appreciation from President Joseph R. Biden. The certificate reads, Certificate of Appreciation for Service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America. Colonel Jacqueline Marie Killian, I extend my personal gratitude and sincere appreciation of a grateful nation to you and your patriotic service to our country. Your bravery and dedication in our armed forces help protect your fellow Americans during a critical moment in our history and contributed to a world of greater security and growing prosperity. Your devotion to duty, honor, and country, in keeping with the long tradition of the finest military in the world, embody the American ideal of selfless service. Our nation owes you an incredible debt. Your commitment and the example you set will inspire future generations to serve with pride and to keep our country secure. You represent the best of our nation, and I join our fellow Americans in saluting your honorable service. I wish you happiness and success in your next chapter. Signed, J.R. Biden, Commander-in-Chief.
Just like that. Just tip it down a little bit to me. Very good, thank you.
At this time, Colonel Meliori will present Colonel Killian with a Certificate of Appreciation from Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. The certificate reads, I am proud to join your friends and family in congratulating you on your retirement from the United States Air Force, Colonel Jacqueline Marie Killian. The achievements and contributions you have made throughout your career are indicative of the core value of our great service. Your retirement is well deserved, but your selfless contributions will be sorely missed. On behalf of all airmen, thank you for your faithful and devoted service to our nation. As this chapter in your life closes and the new one begins, I hope the years ahead are filled with more great memories and continued success. Signed, Joanne S. Bass, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force.
Just tip it this way.
At this time, Colonel Meliori will present Colonel Killian with a letter of appreciation from Chief of the Air Force Nurse Corps. The letter reads, Dear Colonel Killian, on behalf of the men and women of the Air Force Medical Service and the total nursing force, I would like to extend a heartfelt congratulations on the occasion of your retirement. It is with great admiration that we honor this significant event. From your initial service as a neonatal intensive care Army nurse to your first Air Force assignment as a nurse manager, flight medicine at the 65th Medical Group, Lodges Air Base, Azores, and your final assignment as Senior Science Advisor, United States Air Force School of Aerospace Medicine, 711th Human Performance Wing at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio, you have been instrumental as an educator, scientist, mentor, and leader. Your tireless dedication and countless contributions greatly influenced the delivery of quality health care both in garrison and in deployed setting. Throughout your service, you have been an exemplary nurse corps officer whose passion has been to provide exceptional care and compassion to our heroes past, present, and future, and to bring up the next generation of nurses to do the same. Jackie, as you retire, know that your flight path in the Air Force has been a 31-year career that positively impacted the mission and lives of thousands of men and women who have the honor of serving with you. Thank you for your sacrifices and contributions. you and your family made while serving our great nation. Best wishes and Godspeed as you close this chapter and begin the next chapter along life's journey. Signed, sincerely, Brigadier General Janine M. Ryder, Chief, United States Air Force Nurse Corps. Mr. Matt Killian, will you please join Colonel Killian and Colonel Meliori center stage? Mr. Killian will now pin on Colonel Killian's retirement pin. Stay there a minute. Colonel Meliori will now present Mr. Matt Killian with a certificate of appreciation from Chief of Staff of the Air Force. The certificate reads, Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Air Force. In grateful appreciation, the United States Air Force presents this certificate of recognition to Matthew Thomas Killian for the commitment and numerous contributions that made positive impacts to the nation's defense. Thank you for your support, which gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service. Signed, Major General Heather L. Pringle, Commander, Air Force Research Laboratory, and Charles Q. Brown, Chief of Staff of the Air Force.
And again, thank you.
Colonel Meliori will now present Mr. Matt Killian with a certificate of appreciation from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. The certificate reads, on behalf of all Air Force airmen and their families, the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force presents this certificate of appreciation to Matthew Thomas Killian. I join your spouse, family, and friends in thanking you for the numerous contributions and sacrifices you made in support of our United States Air Force. Your dedication gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service in defense of our nation. Signed, Joanne S. Bass, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force.
Just like that.
Mr. Killian, if you want to step aside with us real quick, we're going to call your kids up if you don't mind. So Jacob, Stephanie, and Nicholas, will you please join Colonel Killian at center stage?
It is my distinct honor to present the Military Child Certificate of Appreciation to Jacob, Stephanie, and Nicholas. The certificate reads, throughout the years of your life, you have made sacrifices and served your country as much as I have done. In your loving way, you quietly shouldered the heavy burden that you were asked to carry. Most of the time, you could not understand why I was not there, but you quietly hid the tears, courageously put on a smile, and defiantly promised that you would support me. You were then, as now, one of the most important parts of my life, and it was your love that enabled you to assure me that what I was doing was important. I missed so many holidays and countless special occasions while you were left at home to worry while I was away. You had to say goodbye to friends when we moved throughout the years, and you had to change schools. Your resilience and self-confidence throughout those frequent moves gave me strength. I am proud of you, for it was your love and support that sustained me in those difficult times. There's no way in my mind that I could have been a success in the military without having your support, your understanding, and most importantly, your unquestionable love. Thank you for being there for me. Signed, your loving mother, Jacqueline Killian.
Just like that right here. And just tip them down just a little bit for me. Perfect. And again. Perfect, thank you.
We'd like to take one without the certificate.
Okay, absolutely. And I'm just gonna all have you take a step, just a little step that way. Perfect, just like that. Right here. And again. And one more time. Thank you.
Mom and Dad, I'd like to get one of my parents too. Here. And Mom and Dad can stand there. Thank you for indulging me. They do not get a new car, sorry. It's not part of the deal.
Sir, I'm gonna have you just step a little, right there.
Mom, you're gonna stand right here next to Nicholas, and then Dad will stand next to you.
Nicholas, turn this way a little bit. Turn this way. Let her hang on you. There you go. Perfect. Just like that. Right here. Beautiful. And again, nice smile. And again. One more time. Just like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
The University of Nevada, Las Vegas, United States Air Force, ROTC Detachment, Honor Guard, led by Cadet Tristan Gort, will now perform the traditional flag folding ceremony in honor of Colonel Killian and her family's service to our great nation. For more than 200 years, the American flag has been the symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternating between 7 red and 7 white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field, representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White signifies purity and innocence. And blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally, a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans both at home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the stars and stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space when Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on constellations of Air Force satellites that circle our globe and on the fin flash of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every American who serves our great nation. The sun never sets on our U.S. Air Force, nor on the flag we so proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of Americans has been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen remain committed to persevering the freedom that others won for us for generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom at home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on lands and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we, as Americans, enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave.
Col Jacqueline Killian, on behalf of Air Force ROTC Detachment 4, your friends and your family, I present this flag in recognition of your 31 years of faithful service with the United States Air Force.
your military service inspired me to also serve in the military. I love you, and I could not have been nearly as successful without the support that you and Mom have given me. I got this bouquet especially for you, Mom, because I know they remind me of Willie and her home and how many years I spent there. And I know she's with us here today. It's her example and your example that also have allowed me to be the woman that I am today.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I introduce retired Col Jacqueline Killian.
Wow. Thank you all for being here today to help me and my family celebrate this milestone in our lives. There's so many special people here today. I wrote down some notes because I knew I was going to be emotional. So hopefully I can stave off the tears, because this is a happy moment. As I listened to Colonel Miliori speak, and to Master Sergeant Velasquez as he read the retirement order, my award, and so forth, I couldn't help but think of all the people in my life that supported, cheered, helped me, and believed in me so much that I was able to accomplish all that I have during my military career and during my nursing career. And to think of how I progressed and had so many opportunities to play so many different roles at every duty station that I was assigned to. And I really am thankful that Lori mentioned Colonel Eleanor Foreman. She's one of just several incredible Nurse Corps leadership that really had an instrumental part in my career in the Air Force Nurse Corps. Colonel Deb Zebakorsky, Colonel Paul Miller, Colonel Brenda Morgan, who traveled here from North Texas, Colonel Jennifer Hatzfeld, and Brigadier General Janine Ryder all had instrumental actions that they took on my part and supported me throughout my career. During my time as a nurse scientist in this last bit of my career, we've had 11 nurse scientists in the Air Force Nurse Corps. And of the approximately 2,800 to 3,000 Nurse Corps officers that we have in the Air Force, nurse scientists make up 0.003%. Okay? So we're like a little microcosm of the Nurse Corps, but we might be small, but we're very mighty. The active duty nurse scientist is a little bit like, it's a little magical, almost like a double rainbow. Most don't comprehend exactly what it is that we do or how we do it. We are trained to conduct a research for the Nurse Corps while also filling military leadership roles, supporting our assigned unit, and also furthering the creation of new nursing science and supporting implementation science in the form of evidence-based practice through our centers of clinical inquiry structure. All of that is a tall order, but somehow we managed to do it. We're also truly fortunate to have a few elite civilian government service nurse scientists within our community. At Wright Pat, we had Dr. Darcy Mortimer and Dr. Melissa Wilson, and as well as Dr. Sheila Savelle down at the 59th where Colonel Miliori works. I really feel that it's incumbent upon our leadership, on us as leaders as well, to support, nurture, and create an environment that will foster continued growth of nurse scientists within the organization. It would be an extreme travesty for this extremely valuable asset to be wasted. And I even think in the civilian sector, we need more nursing research. We need more nurse scientists. I've been extremely proud of the science that I've been able to conduct in my 7 years as a nurse scientist, and also proud of all the work that I see our community contributing to military health. But enough about that. I would be remiss if I did not personally thank those that are here today that set me up for success. In the military, we practice team nursing. And I believe that every successful healthcare environment, and even other environments to include families, is a result of solid teamwork and communication. I have had the benefit of working with truly stellar teams at each of my duty locations. Today, here to help me celebrate, I have teammates that have served with me while I was stationed here at Nellis Air Force Base and while stationed in San Antonio, and some that are watching on Facebook Live. Thank you, Priscilla. Lieutenant Colonel Air Force retired Kay Nims, Senior Master Sergeant United States Air Force retired Jeff Garcia, and Master Sergeant United States Air Force retired Marilyn Carr. We had a blast working with Jamie here at the 99th in Education and Training at Nellis Air Force Base. I have to also mention Lieutenant Colonel retired Carla Leesberg, who I came to know in that role as a staff development officer. She and I were the ones that led the NNSDO Air Force affiliate and planned for 4 years in a row. She and I planned the annual conference affiliation meeting. And Colonel United States Air Force retired Brenda Morgan, a seasoned nurse scientist, my first boss in the role of nurse scientist. She really set me up for success. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I truly cherish our friendship. And now for the dream team. A ceremony such as this does not happen without the involvement of key players, right? And lots of meetings and planning. So first, thank you, Colonel Miliori, my littermate, Lori, for officiating today. You did an amazing job of capturing my life story and career for the past 10 years. Can you believe it's been 10 years? You have been a true friend, moral and spiritual compass for me, and a mentor like no other. I love you like a sister, and I'm excited to see how our futures will continue to intertwine. Thank you. I truly value your friendship as well. I'd also like to thank Lieutenant Colonel Teresa Bedford. She pinned on Lieutenant Colonel the 1st of June, the 1st of this month. So let's give her a round of applause. Teresa, thanks so much for taking on the job of project officer for the ceremony, but most importantly for the incredible work ethic and leadership you've shown in the almost 2 years that we worked together at the 7-Eleven as the 2 nurse scientists there. Teresa did a phenomenal job joining 3 of my research projects, assisting our research teams in writing reports, preparing presentations, manuscripts, with IRB submissions, and so much more. Teresa also has been the lead for the Nurse Corps Clinical Inquiry Fellowship. She guided Major Grant throughout the fellowship, ensuring successful completion of all the requirements. Thank you also, Colonel Bedford, for being so wonderful and incredible to work with, for taking the lead of the Wright Pat C2I as the sole nurse scientist at Wright Pat now that I'm retiring. I know that's a big job, but I know you're up for the task. And I know General Ryder sincerely appreciates your continued support of this function for the Nurse Corps and for the AFMS. Thanks for all you do for nursing science and for the 7-Eleven. Master Sergeant retired Jamie Velasquez, thank you so much for masterfully narrating today's ceremony. It really made it so much more meaningful to me because I have so many fond memories of us working at Nellis. And now you're working there now as a contractor, so that's fantastic. I truly enjoyed working with you. You were the lead you were the cadre for the medical technician phase 2 aspect here of training here at Nellis. I'm hoping that we can work together in the future, perhaps conducting some research and simulations.
Let's do it.
So we'll just see if we can do that. And then Tech Sergeant U.S. Air Force retired Stephanie Blake, my cousin.
Woo-woo!
Woo-woo! I'm so proud of you. She made the transition to retired life look easy. despite having a whole house full of kids. And I truly love you, and I love that you put your uniform back on and flew here to support me. She lives in San Antonio. I'm so proud of everything that you've done professionally since you retired, as well as personally with your family. You are knocking it out of the park all the way around. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank the UNLV Air Force Detachment Honor Guard, seated in the back there. I truly appreciate your support, presenting the colors, providing that beautiful flag folding ceremony for everyone. As I join the UNLV family, I also hope that I could be of service to the detachment and to you cadets as well. Now let's talk about the support I've received on my home front from God, my amazing family and friends. I was raised Catholic and have always had faith, stronger at times than others, but always present. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for always coming through and for traveling all over, wherever we might be, whenever me and the family needed you. I love you. We come from a large family located mostly in Puerto Rico and Texas. Although my family from the island could not travel to be here today, they have sent me their love and support continually throughout my career. I am fortunate to have my cousins Jennifer, Joanne, Melissa, Stephanie, Kendall, Jamie, and my tias, my Aunt Kathy and Aunt Terry here to celebrate with me and my family today. I am so blessed to have the kind of family that shows up for special events such as this. And I did not know you were going to use show up when you talked. I love you all very much. The thing about being in the military is that you move around. But I really enjoy this because it gave me the opportunity to make friends in so many different places. Thank you to all that made the trip here today and to those that are here in spirit and attending virtually on Facebook. I hope in this next chapter of my life that we can see each other on a more regular basis. As I enter this new chapter in academia here at UNLV, Dean Amars, thank you so much for attending today and supporting me and for offering me this opportunity. I would like to thank you for opening your arms to me. You have just been wonderful. I'd like to show my appreciation for the School of Nursing leadership, faculty, staff, and students that are here present today. I'm truly excited to teach here at the university to continue my research that's focused on resilience and nursing practice. But the ones that I need to thank the most for their love and support are my husband and children. Matt and I have been married for almost 32 years. We have had quite a roller coaster ride, right? Been through highs and lows, but we've always weathered each and every storm. Thank you, Matt, for always saying yes, for your flexibility, for your sacrifices that you have made, especially during these last 10 years. I love you dearly, and I'm so excited that we're living in the same location together again, and I look forward to the many new adventures that await us. To my children, Jake, Stephanie, and Nick, you're all grown up and have families and plans of your own, and I could not be more proud of you three. I know growing up as a military child was challenging, but you each rose to that challenge in your own way and are now successful in your own right. I love you, and I always will. I would also like to thank my son-in-law, Jordan, who's been corralling the little ones in the back there. Thank you for loving and supporting Stephanie and all of her crazy things that she does. She's so much like me, it's uncanny. And you are both such wonderful parents to Harrison and Leslie. I get to see that firsthand. I really appreciate your flexibility and understanding, Jordan, when it comes to the different ways that our family has of doing things. And those of you that know me know what I mean. Overall, if I could go back, I would do it all again. If I could go back in time, I would do exactly the same thing because I would want these same people in my life. I'm not going to say that it was always easy, but it was always rewarding. And I think throughout the years, the relationships that I have been able to make have truly made my life wonderful. And I'm so, so incredibly thankful for that. But being separated from my family these last 3 assignments made me realize that it really is time to come home. to take care of my own and be present for the growth of my grandchildren. I have a few gifts to present, but I'm going to do that personally in lieu of time. Matt, yours is going to be delivered. It couldn't fit in a bag or a box. And for the rest of you, I will be coming to you each personally to give you a little something from me. Thank you so much again for being here. I'm now retired!
For your presentation, excuse me.
Hi. It's Gaga.
He has something to say.
Everybody needs to say something. I am so honored and privileged to be standing up here right now. And I have two gifts that I'd like to give to Colonel Killian. The first is on behalf of the USAF-SAM commander. And it's just a picture of Wright-Patterson to remind Colonel Killian of the time that she spent there. And to know that that time, that influence will continue to go on. She was the glue that held two entire groups together and inspired collaboration, innovation, and science, moving healthcare forward. So with that, I'd like to give her the picture. Colonel Killian, this is on behalf of the USAF-SAM commander. And now I'd like to give her something on behalf of the Wright-Patterson neuroscientist community. As Colonel Killian said, there's 10 neuroscientists in the Air Force that are active duty. And there are 2 of us at Wright-Patterson. When I first got to Wright-Patterson, I'm walking in the building, literally. And Colonel Killian doesn't remember this because she's a colonel, you know? And when you're a major and you're walking in and you have a colonel that's waving and smiling and you're just like, you guys saw the movie Sweet 16 and he's like, yeah, you know, that's Colonel Killian coming to me to welcome me into the community and into Wright-Patterson. But since then, she's taken it to a whole nother level. I would not be standing here right now if it weren't for Colonel Killian and her mentorship, her leadership, and her coaching. And today I know that we're going to be that much better because of everything that she gave us. All of the inspiration, all of the knowledge. She shares everything. Like she said, she brought me on those studies right away. Let's get to work. But it wasn't just about tasks, do this, do that. It really was about the coaching and reminding me that I'm a person and that I can do this. And that now that I'm the one that's there, I am going to do this. And it's all really because of Colonel Killian. So I'm envious of the students that are here and the fact that you get to work with her. I tell you, when she says she has an open door policy, take advantage of it. She has stories, she has knowledge that you can't even imagine yet, that I'm still learning. And I look forward to us continuing that journey. What we did was we put together a shadow box for her, just a reminder of her career, and I'm really, really hopeful that it's going to go up on a wall somewhere that she can be reminded of everything that she did and all of those seeds that she planted that are starting to bloom. I promise you they're blooming. So Colonel Killian, I'd like to show you the shadow box that we put together for you. It represents all of the medals that you've been awarded, all of the patches from places that you've been to, as well as the assignments that you've had. And I would encourage all of you to take a look at it, to be reminded of the story that Colonel Migliore shared with us as well. But this is just a little reminder of everything that you've done and all the places that you've been an inspiration. I can't thank you enough, ma'am. It's
One more time. Thank you.
Thank you. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. They did such a great job on this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the men and women of the United States Air Force are proud to have served with Colonel Killian and assure her she will always be a valued member of the Air Force family, even in retirement. We wish Colonel Killian every success in her future endeavors.
Do you want to come up?
For what?
Did you want to say something?
Oh.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you were signaling me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as we sing the first verse of the Air Force song located on the back of your program, and remain standing as the official party departs. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun.
Here they come, zooming to beat our thunder. And boys, give them the gun, give them the gun. Down we dive, starting our flame from under. Off the one of the roll. We live in fame, we go down in flames. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.
Thank you everyone for coming. Jackie will have video from the party afterwards. Thank you so much.
Colonel Killian will be receiving guests in the foyer, and we hope you have a great evening. Thank you so much.
I was watching the Facebook Live that he said.
Not enough.